All hail Biafra. This is Biafra Liberation Army Network coming to you again. Please do subscribe, like, share, and comment.
The Igbo man learned that the government has nothing for him. So he learned to survive on his own. You will rarely ever find an Igbo man applying to the civil service or looking for salary job. So the average one, even the ones I went to university with, they will go and attach themselves to somebody in the market. They will learn a trade. So they learned to do without government. They learned to discount the government completely, which means that the Igbo man is better equipped than any other Nigerian to cope with our current circumstances, where the government has become completely useless. The Igbo man was already prepared for the uselessness of the government. So now that he is prepared for it, and everybody else have now decided to stigmatize the Igbo man.
I love some of the words, his choice of words, honestly, I love it. You know, he said the Igbo man knew that the government have nothing for him. He knew that the government have already sidelined him, so he was better prepared. He said the Igbo man is more prepared. And when he's using this term, Igbo man, you know, most of them will use the word Igbo man. And when they use the word Igbo man, just know they're talking about Biafrans in general. Biafrans in general, because the Biafran is not just an Igbo man. And I'm telling you, the characteristics of an Igbo man is the same as that of every Biafran in everywhere you find them. Everywhere. We have the same spirit, the same forefathers, we have the same way of life, the same style of living, the same kind of food. Everything is the same. So when they say the Igbo man, don't bother, don't worry, don't get angry with him. He's talking about a Biafran in general, okay? So let me just start it again from the top. Please just bear with me. Let me start so that I will even pay attention to the points where I need to address.
The Igbo man learned that the government has nothing for him. So he learned to survive on his own. You will rarely ever find an Igbo man applying to the civil service or looking for salary job. So the average one, even the ones I went to university with, they will go and attach themselves to somebody in the market. They will learn a trade. So they learned to do without government. They learned to discount the government completely, which means that the Igbo man is better equipped than any other Nigerian to cope with our current circumstances, where the government has become completely useless. The Igbo man was already prepared for the uselessness of the government.
He said the Igbo man was already prepared for the uselessness of the government. Now, there's something you need to appreciate about this guy. I say it sometimes, and sometimes he will come and do some kind of nonsense or say some kind of nonsense, and then I will also address it. But the point is that among all the one Nigerianists, this guy is someone that understands Nigeria very, very well. In fact, when he's analyzing Nigeria, he doesn't pity with them. When he's analyzing the government, he doesn't show mercy. But one thing that surprises me is him still giving hope for that Nigeria, or him still having a space to keep Nigeria, hoping that one day there will be a better Nigeria or a new Nigerian. Because already he describes Nigeria as a hopeless space, as a useless space, as a completely dilapidated, confused state, government that have no repair, no resuscitation. But yet, P2B came up. P2B came up, he began to support P2B and believing that there will be hope for Nigeria. And when it was a mess, Uncle Dele just went one corner. Do you see here him talking about obedience? No, because he knows that Nigeria is completely useless. He doesn't show any love or any pity or any kind of, he doesn't have a good word for Nigeria. No, so if there is anything you will do against anybody that disdains Nigeria, that shows so much disrespect to Nigeria, that completely describes Nigeria as a useless non-entity, this man, he should be in jail first. But no, at the end of the day, you know why they will leave him? He will still do all these things and he will still come back and say there is hope for Nigeria. They are looking for a new Nigeria. There will be a political party tomorrow. He will give it a chance. That is the problem they are always having in that zoo. Do you understand? All right, let me continue. Let's continue.
So now that he's prepared for it, And everybody else have now decided to stigmatize the Igbo man. I can't blame the Igbo man for turning around and saying, it's none of my business, oh, enjoy your government. He didn't enjoy anything from the government before. So for somebody, and I'm talking about...
Now, you will not agree when our Prime Minister tell you that in their last charade of a vote or of election, that the Igbo man or the Biafra man did not participate in their so-called election. I'm telling you, all what you saw were all games, gimmicks. The Biafran did not participate. The Biafran did not participate in the election. They didn't join. They were not part of it. So, Dele Faron Timi is confirming it here that the Igbo man told them, go away, since you want to do whatever you want with your Nigeria. Let me be the man, the Igbo man that you have sidelined. Let me survive in my business. Let me survive in my doings. But for you and your Nigeria, oh yeah, make una carry go. So this is another proof that Biafrans did not join them in the last election. He admitted it here systematically, that's it. Let's go.
But the average Igbo man who is like me and you, I'm not talking about the Ojibus or Kalus of this world or the Okorochas of this world who have always fed on the grievances of Ndi Igbo and made money by appeasement of government and then presuming to speak on behalf of... I'm not speaking to those ones. I'm speaking for the average man on the street who grew up believing that he has no portion in Nigeria, which was what fed the Biafran spirit and the demand for Biafra even 50 years after the Civil War. So I'm not speaking to the man on the street of Ala-Igbo. I'm not speaking to the trader in Alaba or at Aspanda or at Ladipo. All those ones, they have always lived with the mentality of being victims of the system. So when a victim of the system is telling you, leave me out of your protest, go and deal, because it wasn't gaining anything from the system in the first place. So if he wasn't gaining anything from the system in the first place, he has nothing to lose if the situation becomes... The only thing that is happening now is that more victims are being recruited into the Nigerian mess.
Okay, you see that? So now you will understand that this particular Biafran who doesn't want to be a part of their mess, who doesn't want to be a part of those that will be recruited into the current Nigerian mess, what would he do if there's a very quick opportunity to separate themselves from that zoological republic? He would grab it, wouldn't he? He would grab it. That's exactly what happened here. Exactly what happened here. That's the reason why immediately every one of them saw that chance that, look, there is a self-referendum. Let's go and vote to leave Nigeria. Whether or whether they knew anything about Biafra government, or they belong to Biafra government, or they love Samonekpa, despite all the lies they were told about Samonekpa, they did not care. They did not care. They went and said, let us vote. After all, we vote in Nigeria, we do nothing happened. Now we are voting to leave Nigeria. Oh yeah, they went and voted. That's why, as we still speak, on every sit-at-home day, in their hundreds, they are still coming out to vote. They're still coming out to vote. And the voting is accumulating. As we speak, over 40 million Biafrans have voted in less than 2 months in our self-referendum. What does it tell you? We do not participate in anything called Nigeria. And Biafra is a short deal. So, those of you that are still, pretending as if you don't see it, and you are still doing your head, they are going to recruit you very soon. They will recruit you into the Nigerian mess. That's exactly what they are doing. They are recruiting people now because Nigeria have completely collapsed. Nigeria has messed up. So what they are doing now is they are recruiting people. They are recruiting gullible souls. They are recruiting useless, foolish virgins into their mess. And at the end of the day, they will completely ruin you. Let's listen to him. I have people already in my room. Let's listen to him while I bring in the guest I have.
Yes. So why should he, who was always a victim, further victimized himself by joining those he believes were responsible for his victimhood. Unfortunately, it only assures the victimization of everybody. But it is now incumbent on those of us who know better to help him to understand that, yes, we understand that that was yesterday. But for us to all come out of this together, you would have to move away from that pain to now walk. Now, at least everybody is now suffering. Yorubas will say that it means that until suffering is democratized, it is not possible to end it. The suffering in Nigeria has now been democratized. Long ago, I predicted that the Nigerian revolution will start.
Have you heard that kind of language before? That in a country, in a space, they have democratized suffering. People are enjoying democracy, but in Nigeria, they are enjoying suffering. They have made suffering a democracy. Suffering has been democratized. And he said something that is very interesting here. He said you cannot end suffering until it is democratized. And the only way you can end it is to make sure you destroy that thing that gave you that evil democracy as that evil suffering as a democracy. You have to destroy it completely. The Bible says, except a corn of seed or a seed of corn falls to the ground and die, it abideth alone. The seed of corn must fall to the earth and it must die to be able to bring out a new fresh corn. Do you understand? You know what they are doing now? That's why they are giving them GMO these days. GMO is that kind of corn that they give to you. You will eat it. You will look like you are enjoying it. But when the seed falls to the ground, even if it dies, it cannot produce anything. You know why? Because there is no life in it. There's no life in it. So that is what Nigeria is teetering into today. Africa needs a total redemption. You see what is happening in Kenya? Does it surprise you that is happening? That is the country where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped. So you see the roots of Kenya was already getting close to becoming like Nigeria. Now look at what happened there yesterday. They were shooting protesters like no man business. You understand? And there's one of their MP that received a thorough beating yesterday. Our PM tagged it on the Twitter. I said that this MP have received a beating today. Said that they turned his head to Ishiabo. Let me listen to Dele. Let's listen to Dele so that I'll give people microphone.
Evolution will start in northern Nigeria. The only reason I said so at the time is because the North had always been the reason we could not find common purpose to fight the evil. But now that the person in power in the presidency is not a northerner and is at best a nominal Muslim, and the suffering has now been fully democratized, the northern street, I'm not talking about the northern elite, the northern street has no interest in forbearing and continuing to suffer. Why is it that all of a sudden everything that they tolerated during the years of Muhammadu Buhari is no longer tolerable? Have you considered that? Look, I don't know how long it's going to take, but if this mess continues, the problem that will consume this government will start in northern Nigeria. It's not going to start in the east. The Igbo man has more or less taken a position. I was always a victim. Go and solve your problem. Leave me alone.
So, and they know very well that we have already taken our position. The people in the north are the one actually agitating and getting angry. And the terrorists are there giving them. And then this terrorist government now shifting the narrative and coming to where people have already hands off from the government. They don't want to be a part of the government. They never voted in the election. They are doing their thing. They want their leader. They want their government. They want their Biafra. And yet they are causing mayhem in that place. Sending unknown gunmen, sending terrorists. And God would have it to raise us an army. To raise us an army. And Mazenamkan told them that, look, while you are sending your army to Biafra land, your place where it's already polarized with terrorism and terrorists will be so consumed that if there's any one of you left, you go back, there will be no land for you to enter anymore because your land will be all completely wiped out. Completely wiped out.
Problem.
Fine and good. The last word he said there is that you are already in a position of advantage. You as a Biafran, your position is the position of advantage. Do not lose it. Somebody say no sound. There was no sound. The last time there was no sound.
Yes, the last one, no sound, but you can hear you.
You could hear me, but you didn't hear him.
Yes.
I need to refresh and take it back a little bit.
Okay.
All of a sudden, everything that they tolerated during the years of Muhammadu Buhari is no longer tolerable. Have you considered that? Look, I don't know how long it's going to take, but if this mess continues, the problem that will consume this government will start in northern Nigeria. It's not going to start in the east. The Igbo man has more or less taken a position. I was always a victim. Go and solve your problem. Leave me alone in my little corner. If you like, steal all the money in the world. You still take that money to a market to go and buy something. Who will you find in the market when you get there? You find the Igbo man there. Whether it's food you are buying, whether it's building material, whether it's car, you find the Igbo man. He's there in the market waiting for you. So he's already in a position of advantage. So why would he disadvantage himself unless you people show him a readiness for change? So that is where we are right now. It might seem like nothing is going to happen, but something will definitely happen. This system is not sustainable.
All right, anyway, let me not waste my time. Let me not waste time because I was not in the studio. Okay, now you heard the last point that he made there. He said that we are in a position of advantage. We are what? In a position of advantage. Do not lose your advantageous position because of Ndara, because of sewage rats. Thank you very much. All right, let me give the microphone to my guest in the house this morning. My brother, Samuel Awal. Please, let's do it. Grab the mic this morning and give us